Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Amy. I travel pretty much full-time while working remotely, and today's video is going to be a little bit different because at the time of you watching this video, it's going to be my 3-year anniversary as a full-time travel content creator. So today I thought I would do a little bit of a different style of video where it's more of a sit-down chat and catch up on what I've been up to, because there's been so much going on in the background that no one's really seen because I've been incredibly busy. I actually counted up all the countries I traveled to in the past 3 years, and it is 36 countries, which is 1 country per month on average, which is actually kind of insane. I have a lot of things coming up work-wise in the next couple months, so I thought it might be interesting to talk a little bit about that, as well as some things I've learned and struggled with along the way and throughout this journey of working remotely and creating content. So I'm currently in Wales, but I'm going to be heading to Tenerife, the Canary Islands, for an entire month to do a work trade through Worldpackers. I'm going to be working with a hostel and co-living, and I'm going to handle all of their social media. I think it's just Instagram actually. So I'm really excited to get into that, see how it goes, and let you guys know what the real experience is like. I've already shared a little bit about the ups and downs and pros and cons of doing these work trades with Worldpackers on this channel before. I'll link it above if you want to check out that video. But I just know from previous experiences, they're not always what you think it's going to be. So last year, this time of year, I was actually in Cape Town working at a hostel, and it didn't really go exactly how I thought it would. I'm going in a little bit blind at the moment, and they did just contact me yesterday asking if I had an interview, which is kind of weird because I've already been confirmed for this experience through Worldpackers. So I don't know if they're just a little unorganized or what's going on, but we're going to see when we get there. I'm going to think positively and hope that it goes well. I'm just a little bit nervous that they're going to try to lay on too many hours of work, which is something I've seen happen in the past at Worldpackers experiences, just when these hosts try to take advantage of the volunteers and make them work an entire full-time job really, instead of just giving them a fair amount of work in exchange for the free accommodation. All of that's to say, if you want to see what life is like in Tenerife, I'm going to be there for the entire month, so I'll be sharing more details on YouTube, but also on my Instagram, TikTok, blog, and more. And I'm also not going to share just the highlights. I feel like a lot of people are kind of sick of seeing only the good things that come with travel, myself included, and I think it can be kind of toxic to only share the good parts of life instead of talking about the ups and downs, because everyone's going to experience bad things when they're traveling as well as the good things. Of course, usually there's a lot more good than bad, but if there are some downsides, I'm going to be sharing it openly because I think that's important. And when it comes to work, I'm not gonna lie, it's been a little bit stressful because it is a one-woman show over here. I'm handling the filming, the scripting, the editing, writing blog posts, writing a newsletter, posting, engaging. Like, there's so much going on in the back end that you don't see. And I definitely need to hire someone at some point, but I'm not quite at that stage in my business yet. On top of that, I also just recently launched 2 group trips, one to Costa Rica and another one to South Africa. So that's been taking up a lot of time because I'm not really the most salesy person, and I've struggled a lot in the past to sell out group trips. One way that a lot of content creators, especially in the travel space, monetize is through these group trips. And as someone who's like a budget traveler, I really want to keep the price low, so I'm selective about which trips I run. And the one to Costa Rica is through Worldpackers, Epic Trips, and it's only $766 US. There's, I think, 5 or 6 spots left, so I'm happy that I've filled a few, but working on filling those other spots. It's for women only at an eco village. It's going to be incredible. We're going to spend a day at a national park that's the most biodiverse place in the world. We're going to be snorkeling, horseback riding, going on a boat party. There's honestly so much going on in that trip, and I'm excited for that one. That's in February 2nd to 9th, 2025. And then the next trip is to South Africa for 10 days, and it's March 3rd to 12th next year as well. So I've just been working on that. That one's with a small tour operator that I've worked selectively with to create a itinerary from scratch. So I've spent a lot of time around Cape Town and the Western Cape, so I wanted to come up with something that would give everyone the best experience if they haven't been to South Africa yet. And I have 2 people signed up for that one, but obviously I want to get more people to join because it's going to be an incredible trip. That one is 1,100, no, I think that one's 1915 US dollars. I'll put all the numbers above, but that one's going to be great as well. And there's an optional add-on to go to the Kruger to do even more safaris. So the first 10 days is going to include safaris. We're going to sleep on a floating houseboat. We're going to be going to all the best beaches, cafes, hikes, all the stuff you can do around Cape Town as well. The itinerary is jam-packed, so I'm gonna leave everything in the description if you guys want to check that out. But that's what's been consuming me lately and what all my attention's been going to, because I want to make these trips incredible for you guys. Plus I need to work on selling myself, because as someone who doesn't sell naturally and like feels a little bit weird trying to sell something, I'm trying to get past that and just put it out there because I know people are gonna love this trip. And I honestly love going on these trips so much, just because when I first started traveling, I was way too scared to go by myself. And I remember being 20 years old, being like, I can't do it on my own. So I joined a group trip, and that gave me the confidence to then solo travel after the fact. You also get a great community of people that you meet from all around the world and can become friends with. So I think group trips are a really good place to start, and it's why I'm so passionate about it. But I'm always going to try to find the best price for you guys, because as a budget traveler, I know how much it costs to travel, and I don't want it to be expensive. I want it to be very affordable. So that's what I'm working on. And I'm also growing my second Instagram account, Spellbound Trips, specifically to promote group trips, but also just give really good tips on there and stay true to who I am as a creator. So one thing I wanted to talk about is that the biggest thing I've been struggling with these group trips in particular is just feeling like I'm not good enough compared to other people. So I'm a little bit in the comparison game of seeing other people sell out group trips by posting 1 or 2 reels and a few stories, and I'm over here churning out a bunch of content and really trying to get the word out, but it doesn't seem to attract the right people. So that's something that's been really discouraging, because I know how much value these trips have, and I am currently working on getting a little bit better with my sales and just connecting with my audience to get better with that aspect of what I'm doing for work. If you have any tips for me about how to sell group trips, please let me know, because I just want to be authentic with it. I don't want to be too pushy and too salesy, but I just thought it would be kind of useful to know that people like me who are putting out group trips like this are really scared and nervous that no one's going to book, and it can be very intimidating, especially when you see all these other people selling them out trip after trip. And I'm not saying this to complain or to try to sell any of you guys on this trip. I just want to kind of give a realistic view of what life as a travel creator is like, because it's not always as like glamorous as it seems. I'm going to show more of that sort of stuff while I'm traveling in the next month in Tenerife, but also continuing after that on my future travels. I want to make this channel more authentic and just be my real self, because I definitely feel like I have to kind of perform a certain way on YouTube, and I'm just gonna see how it feels to create more content like this and listen to what you guys want to see and go from there. So aside from the group trips, I've been pitching to new brands to try to get brand deals, but I've also been focusing on my travel blog. I started a blogging course recently because I've had my blog spellboundtravels.com for years and it hasn't been monetized, and I couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong. And I recently met up with some creatives in Toronto, met a girl who's incredible, so nice. She runs a blogging course, and I know someone who's done the course personally who is making great money from their blog. So I'm putting a lot of my efforts into that right now as well. I'm trying to shift my focus from video content to writing, because I think I'm first and foremost a writer. My degree was in English and communications. It's what I started doing for work when I first graduated. And as much as I love video content, you can probably tell I'm not the best editor. It's not what I'm truly passionate about. And I do have a good time creating, but I love writing. So I'm getting back into that a little bit more. The goal with that is to get enough money from my blog through an ad network once I have enough sessions on my blog, which is basically views, so that I can be getting some money more consistently instead of having to constantly go out and pitch to brands to keep myself afloat. I'm really excited about the blog overall. I think I have been procrastinating a little bit with this course, setting up the back end stuff because I'm not super techie, but I did go back and complete a few little things I needed to set up the blog, and it's getting there, so I'm just going through and figuring out the next steps with that. And honestly, part of me making this video is kind of to remind myself what my goals are with my career as a travel creator, because you have to think a little bit ahead. You can't really just think about the next month. I'm thinking more like the next few years. Where do I want to take the business? And I am definitely seeing it go more the blog route as well as YouTube. I have really enjoyed creating videos here, but it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and I don't know if anyone's really enjoying this type of content. I'm still getting a feel for it. I also feel like with the blog, it's going to give me a little bit of a better work-life balance, because right now, everywhere I travel, everywhere I go, I'm thinking, I need to get that shot, I need to get those photos, I need to do this and that. And okay, my camera was just full, so I had to clear off some old content. Sorry about that. But as I was saying, I think that the blog's going to be great just because it will give me a little bit better of a work-life balance. And right now, I just feel like when I'm going to a new place, I'm thinking about content I need for all social media platforms, photo, video, both horizontal and vertical. So it's just a lot going on. And I think focusing more on the blog in the next coming years will be great, as well as YouTube. I have really enjoyed this platform. I would just love to hear what type of content you guys want to see, and I will be sharing more of that then. Now, getting back into the life of someone who's always on the move, I obviously love the freedom. It's a huge plus. But I also met my boyfriend traveling in my first year of traveling in Egypt, and now I kind of revolve around his schedule a little bit so that we're not always doing long distance. He is from England but lives in Wales right now for university, so I kind of find myself coming to and from Wales in between trips, and I have to plan things out a little bit more than I did before. This has also been a little bit challenging because I don't have much of a routine. I'm back in a student house when I'm in Wales, so I kind of have to work around what's going on in the house, who's around, when I can film and stuff like that. And it's obviously not my own place, and I'm used to living kind of more on my own when I'm not at a hostel. So that's something I've been getting used to. And also when I do get to a new place and I'm trying to set up a routine, it can be hard to do that if I'm only staying for a couple days or even a couple of weeks. So I do a few little things to kind of set myself up to get the most amount of work done. In Tenerife, I might share a little bit of that side of things and how I get into more of like a work schedule when I'm also trying to explore a new place, because it's definitely all about the balance. But despite all of that, I still love what I'm doing for work because of the freedom and because of the fact that I can pick up and work from pretty much anywhere in the world. Honestly, being back in Wales, I thought I would not like it as much, but I've started to make some good friends here, and I was recently on BBC Wales, weirdly enough, because I started a Facebook group to make friends, and I've just started making friends like in the third year of coming back here. So coming to and from places all the time can be difficult for making friends, and that's always tough. But I do find I bounce back very quickly, especially when I go to a new place, and if people are staying for a while or moving from place to place and I have the flexibility to kind of travel with someone I meet, then that's great, and I love that about what I'm doing for work. But also, as someone who is 29 and going to be 30 in 6 months, I definitely think a lot more about having a little bit more of a base to settle from, and then from there do more trips, but a place that's my own instead of living with so many people. Of course, I'm conflicted all the time because I love hostels. I also love co-livings because I feel like the age group is a little bit older. I have a little bit more in common with people at co-livings because they're working remotely instead of just at a hostel to party. So I'm kind of leaning more into that direction now for accommodation, but I do love a hostel just for how social it can be. Anyway, I feel like you guys are probably sick of me just rambling on at this point. I don't even know where I was trying to take this video, but I hope you enjoyed some honest thoughts about travel and work and what I'm doing as a travel creator. Let me know if you have any questions about what my life is like, if you want to see like a day in the life that's pretty typical and not some like fake built up day in the life. What you want to see while I'm in Tenerife, and I will see you next week in Tenerife for another video. Bye!